Thank you so much for the intro, and I'll start off by saying I actually own a TOTO toilet. It's a C5, highly recommended. We got it last year. There we go. So let me see if I can word this. So I'm Jared. I'm going to share a little bit about my background so you can get a sense of where how to take some of the things I'm going to share. What are the lessons and learnings and apply them to you. I'm jumping through. Okay, this agenda is just going to be a bunch of stuff from the titles for the next slide, so we're going to jump through that quickly and go to a little bit about me. So I'm a pretty stubborn, determined individual to a fault, sometimes to a benefit. I was bootlegging Tupac CDs when I was 13 years old on a one-time CD burner, so that was my first business. Then selling novelty items online when I was 15. They used to joke, when is the IPO? I have not had one yet. I'm now 40, so that sort of hurts. And I played poker in university to fund all of my fun expenses. So career, I was at Bain & Company for a few years, then at Google for 7.5, in the sales strategy and operations group, and then in product. So I was leading mobile for Google Fiber, in ads, doing location-based ads for service businesses. I was pissed off at tech, started an adventure travel company. So I drove a bus for a year, then had a bunch of people driving buses across the country, and then COVID hit, so I couldn't sell my buses. And from there, I've now founded Mash. I have a wonderful family. I go canoe tripping, and I smoke meat. That is my life. It is fantastic, and brisket starting late in the day means you're up till 5 a.m. or vice versa. I don't know why I keep on doing it. So no one knows but you. That's what I'm going to start with. We all have lots of advice. Take what I'm saying and relate it to your experience. It could be useless, but hopefully I'll leave you with one interesting story that is helpful to you. So the first thing I'll share is one of my first great bosses when I was at Google, a guy named Puneet. He told me there's two jobs. You're building things or you're selling things. And throughout my career, I sort of thought about that a lot. But then I noticed that some of the best companies or like products and things that we built was actually when the people who were building things and the people who were selling things were talking to each other all the time. And the people who were building things were talking to the people who were selling things and who they were talking to. So having isolated walls is almost like an immediate recipe for failure because you don't know what to build unless you're talking to the people who you're building it for and vice versa. And all right, I'll keep on going. A no isn't always a no. So that's not to say you always want to fight through a disqualified lead from a sales perspective, but I was early in my career. I would say 3 years into my career. I was applying to lots of different jobs, and it's, let's say 2009, and I'm applying at Google. I get the yes, I'm hired, it's 2009, this is the best thing, I'm moving to California. 3 days later, I'm sorry, we're having a hiring freeze. Congratulations, you now don't get this job. So I take another job, it was great. 6 months later, they give me a call. Hey, remember that job? Hiring freeze is over, you now have the job. Yay, I'm excited. 2 days later. Sorry, there's no more visas to go to the US. Congratulations, you do not have this job again. I'm like, how did you not know this? You're like a 20,000 person company and you're like the people manager for this. So what I did, like any stubborn individual, was I went on the internet. I learned everything to do about visas to move to the US. I found this TN visa. So I pitched them on, I am a temporary worker now. I'm a temporary consultant. I'm going to move to California. You need to get a VP with signing authority to sign these documents that I hired a lawyer to create for me on your behalf that you will never pay me back for, but they should have, but they didn't. They write the documents, they get it, they ship it to me. I fly to New York, I get the visa, and I call them from the airport. I get the job, and I move there 2 weeks later. Now, it sounds easy, but I could have said no every single step of the way. Now, was doing the Google right thing at the time? Who knows? I could have done anything. Who knows where I would be if I didn't do that? But I think that you can find workarounds in even really tough organizations, whether it's the right person that you're selling to. Maybe you're selling to the wrong person in the wrong function with the wrong mandate. So that's just sort of sometimes put a little bit of pressure on, and you sort of have to trust yourself when that's the case. Blessings in disguise. So this was, I when I was at Google, when I switch over to the product org, there's a whole hiring committee, technical interviews, engineering interviews, et cetera, et cetera. And you can get a lot of help if you have a VP, which is very senior there in product, that wants to bring you over to the team. So I was doing a lot of product work already with them. They wanted to bring me over. I did the whole gauntlet of interviews. They said I was good to go. And I got blocked at the hiring committee because I didn't have a computer science degree. And I was pretty upset about this. I'm like, everyone wants me, the team wants me, I'm working with engineers, what's going on? And so what I ended up doing was still working that job, doing CS classes basically at night, which were full-time Stanford classes, to actually learn computer science from a technical perspective. And while I was doing 80-hour weeks for like a year basically, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me to learn that requisite knowledge that's helped me be able to work with engineers and different people in technology for the next like 10 plus years. So I almost look at that as I wouldn't be able to understand or have a meaningful conversation with, the amazing people on the team and my co-founders unless I actually had this happen to me. And so I still sort of joke and drop a few technical terms just to feel like I know what I'm talking about, but I know a little bit. So, and I'm at 6 minutes and they told me 7. So I'm going to say 2 things, then I'll do this last one and then I'll jump to the next one. So leaps of faith with huge consequences. A few years ago, had a term sheet, reputable Silicon Valley firm, $6 million in the bank, good valuation. But there was one hiccup, the board structure. They had sort of a structure in place that would give them the option to sort of squeeze out the founders of the company. And I saw it, I recommended a change, and they came back with a change that was a change in disguise. So everything else of the deal was great. Clean term sheet, no hidden like follow-along rights. I forget all the terms now because it's been a while, but I said no, with no other option in place. Now we got another deal done a month later, but that could have killed the company within 6 months, or we could have survived. But it worked out. It could have easily not. And I don't know what the lesson is. Like the lesson is you sort of just have to take your best guess, because had we taken that money, they could have killed us 3 months down the road, a year down the road, 2 years down the road. I don't know where it'd be. It worked out. But I'd rather take a known failure than an unknown overhang and a lost trust with your partners, because effectively investors, you're married to them. And so there's no real lesson there other than it's something I did and it was a really tough situation, but you're always in those every single day. Last thing is take advantage of every opportunity. So Mash, we build knowledge agents for technical B2B sales teams. I heard there was a sales engineer, solutions architect earlier who's 23 with high energy. You want to sell this inside to Microsoft? I'm your guy. And so we help people get the information that they need when and where they need it, from like issue resolution to product feature integration, to product launch details, to client handoffs. So basically it's all in scattered locations throughout your organization, and we help bring it together and surface it at the right time. And so it gets worse as you grow over time. We have lots of product slides. This is basically a feature slide, so I need to talk to April after this, but effectively, Mary goes, how does Acme integrate with Slack? And I keep getting the error, and Tom goes, 5 hours later, hey, sorry, I just saw this. Sad emoji. With Mash, we're actually listening. We're letting you know when we have a good, solid answer. We're giving you the answers from your documentation information, and no one does that. They just help you search for documents. We give you answers. And then we have demo videos, walkthroughs, all the supporting contextually relevant information to help you solve the pain point of what is the answer to this thing? How do I help my customer? Why are they waiting? And Sally, who's amazing, just left, so all of her technical knowledge is gone from Slack. And that's it. So thank you very much for the time.
Any questions for Jared? Just run this around. Yeah.
I'm just curious for Mash, who is the ICP and how do they measure their success or ROI from this? Like, is it large sales teams, smaller sales teams?
So right now we're working with tech companies that are roughly 200 to 500 people. So think 100-person go-to-market team with 10 or so solutions architects and sales engineers. And I would say measuring success would be time saved from SEs and hours of focus that they can benefit. That's in the short term. So, and then longer term, it would be, can your sales engineers and go-to-market teams serve more customers and profitably at a lower ACV, et cetera. So, and then speed to resolution, how many you can how many direct channels or white glove support channels can you serve for these clients, which means you can actually grow revenue because you can charge for it higher tiers of service.
Jared, my question is, what's your go-to-market strategy and how are you reaching those distribution channels?
Sure. I am your SDR, your AE, your AM, et cetera. So our go-to-market strategy right now, I'd say, is twofold or threefold. So one is through my network, just reaching out to every single person in tech that I've worked in the past, shared what I'm doing, being pretty blunt and authentic. Also, we haven't spoken in 10 years. I'm trying to sell it to you and your 5 friends. The other approach is I'm using automated outbound on LinkedIn and through email for very specific roles that would be our champions, and asking for feedback and telling them up front it's not an SDR call. I'm not asking you a budget. I want to do a free POC, and tell them it's a land and expand strategy. So we'll prove value and then we'll charge you. And the last one is just in-person events and just through people who see what we're doing and the value provides. So people who are using our products are now telling their friends. And that's the best. So referrals are what we want.
Awesome. Round of applause, please, for Jared. Thank you.
Thank you.